What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I have the airport update for San Diego International Airport for January 2026. Not a whole lot of new stuff to go over here. Of course there are a bunch of new routes and stuff like that. But a bunch of them will be getting next month. But anyway, there's not a whole lot to say, so I guess we'll just get started off. Right here with this Delta 737-900ER. He's just arriving in from Atlanta, and he'll be heading over to Detroit a little bit later today. Also taxing this time out is a FedEx 767-300F. 767-300F. Taxing go out to Memphis. So we're actually gonna start off here with the Southwest section. So starting us off here, here we have the Southwest 737-700. He's gonna be heading over to Austin after arriving in from Colorado Springs. Then we have this 737 MAX 8 in the Desert Gold Retro livery. He's going to be heading over to Milwaukee after arriving in from Las Vegas. Then we have this 737-700 arrived in from Kansas City, and he'll be heading over to Tucson. Then right here we have this Frontier Airbus A320 Neo Public Paradox. He arrived in from Phoenix, and he'll be heading over to San Francisco. And then we have this A320 he's just getting some crew load on for a flight over to Austin, and he arrived in earlier today from Salt Lake City. Now moving over on to JetBlue, still no A321s. I was going to get some, but decided to get some other planes you'll be seeing hopefully soon. Here we have a JetBlue A320-300. He's going to be heading over to Newark JFK. And then right here we have this A320. He's just getting some beautifully new GSC baggage load on for a flight over to Boston. Then right here we have Tennessee 1 on the 737-800. He's going to be heading over to Nashville, Tennessee after arriving from New Orleans. Then right here we have the 737-800 Baltimore 1. He arrived in from Reno, Tahoe in Nevada, and he'll be heading over to Orlando. Then right here we have, Pink 1 on the 737 MAX 8. He's going to be heading over to San Antonio after arriving in from San Francisco. Then we have Freedom 1. He arrived in from St. Louis, and he'll be heading over to Sacramento. Then right here we have the Southwest 737-800 in the hard livery. He arrived in Chicago Midway, and he'll be heading over to Denver. Illinois 1, he arrived in from El Paso, and he'll be heading over to Columbus John Glenn. Then we have this 737-700. He arrived in from Dallas Love Field, and he'll be heading over to Boise. And then we have Maryland 1. He arrived in from Baltimore, and he'll be heading over to Albuquerque. And then finally we have this Kenny Blue 737-800. Arrived in from Phoenix, and he'll be heading over to Houston Hobby. So there's the Seagates. The Southwest terminal, basically. Now let's move to the rest of the terminals. So starting us off here, just getting pushed back here with this Alaska 737-900ER. He's pushing back for flight over to San Jose, Cabo in Mexico. He arrived in from there a little bit earlier today. Then right here we have the Alaska 737 MAX 9 Seattle Kraken livery. He's about to head over to Eugene, and he arrived in from Everett a little bit earlier today. So they upgraded that to MAX 9. Interesting. I guess we'll put this aircraft. Here we have a Delta A321, the thank you color scheme. Not sure what's wrong with him. But anyway, he arrived in from Minneapolis last night, and he's getting some stuff loaded on. Some mechanics and stuff before he'll hopefully head over to Salt Lake City a little bit later today. Taxiing out there, we have a British Airways 767-8, head over to London Heathrow. And then right here we have the UPS 767-300F. He's going to be heading over to Louisville. Then right here, we have a Delta Connection 875. He's going to be heading over to, he's going to be heading over to Las Vegas after arriving in from Salt Lake City. Then, just push back here, we have a Copa 737-800, pushing back for a flight over Panama City. Then right here, getting catered up, here we have a Delta A321, the 100 years livery. He's also getting fueled on board for a flight over to Newark JFK after arriving in Boston. United 737-800 arrived in from Denver, and he'll be heading over to SF San Francisco. Here we have a United A321 Neo. He arrived in Chicago here, and he'll be heading over to Denver. United Express E175 in the back arrived in from LAX, and he'll be heading over to San Francisco. United 737-900ER, he arrived in from Newark, and he'll be heading over to Washington, Dulles. Air Canada A220-300 arrived in from Toronto, and he'll be heading back out there. Just getting catered up and some crew load on here with the 177-9 heading over to Honolulu. And then just getting some, I guess, Wi-Fi, because I think it's a ground power unit. Here with Delta A220-300, he's going to be heading over to Salt Lake City after arriving in from Seattle. Now moving over on to our American and Alaska section, or the One World terminal that I have. Here we have the American A321. He arrived in from Philadelphia, and he'll be heading over to Miami. American A320 without JetBridge, I know. He's going to be heading over to Phoenix, and he arrived in Chicago here. American A321 Neo, he arrived in from Charlotte, and he'll be heading over to Miami, although that route will actually be on a 737 MAX 8. Okay, so now we have a bunch of, like, these different aircraft and stuff. So I'll start out there with the Alaska 737 MAX 9. He's going to be heading over to Denver, and MAX 8. He arrived in from Denver, and he'll be heading over to Atlanta. Retired Alaska A321 Neo arrived in from, let's go with Boston, and he'll be heading over to New York. Do they have JFK? Yeah, they have JFK. Then we have the Alaska 737 MAX 8 in the Honoring Those Who Serve livery. We've all of them in this update. He's going to be heading over to Kona after arriving in from Lahui. Then we have the 737-800. He arrived in from Honolulu, and he'll be heading over to Kahului. Then we have, right here, we have Honoring Those Who Serve 737-900ER. He arrived in from San Jose, California, and he'll be heading over to Tampa a little bit later today. And then right here we have Education Change the World 737-900ER heading over to Fort Lauderdale after arriving in from Anchorage. So yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say. Basically, it's been like the same routes, but we will have a ton of routes starting up next month. Actually, wait, no, 2 months. Sorry, I thought this was February, but no, it's January. So 2 months we'll have a bunch of routes starting up. But next month, KLM resumes service to Amsterdam. I'll try to get a hold of the KLM like 77. Luckily, NG just re-released that. But anyway, thank you very much all for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.